Hey guys, welcome to Run Free and Strong. I'm Rayto. It's Sunday. We're out for a Sunday long run on the Appalachian Trail in Kent, Connecticut. We got a climb ahead of us here. It's been a week since my DNF at the 100-mile Canyons Endurance Run and 10 weeks to go until my Trail Verbier St Bernard or UTMB race in Verbier, Switzerland. In the race video, I did a quick recap and thoughts on why I didn't finish and what things I need to work on. I've had more time to reflect and a few observations I'd like to share with you. First is, not all mountain trail races are created equal and not all vert is the same. I picked the Canyons 100-miler because I want to qualify for UTMB in 2025. And as the North American major, it offered 8 stones towards the UTMB lottery if I finished. Yeah, I knew it was a challenging race, but I didn't look at it in detail, and I should have. That's on me. The first 20 miles of the race were brutal. The weather made it even more challenging, and my lower back injury, unfortunately, was the end for me. So I've taken a look at the Trail Verbier race, both the course information on the website, as well as watched numerous videos from 2023. And yeah, it's a brutal race. It's probably tougher than the Canyons. So what am I doing? I immediately contacted the race organizers and requested approval to drop down from the 140K X-Alpine distance, which is about 87 miles, but has something like more than 30,000 feet of vert, more than 9,000 meters, which over that distance puts it in the hard rock 100 category. I dropped down to the X-Traversee, still tough, 76K, 47 miles, and in that has about 17,000 feet of climbing and descending, which is about 5,500 meters. Still not easy. None of these things are easy. There are 4 races in the Trail Verbier event. The X-Alpine I mentioned, which is the one I registered for, 140K. The X-Traversee that I dropped down to, 76K. There's the Verbier Marathon, 42K. And there's the Explorer, which I believe is 26K. I do have the possibility, a couple of weeks before the race, to drop down again to the Verbier Marathon. Yeah, it's a marathon with 3,000 meters. Who the heck runs a marathon with 3,000 meters or 10,000 feet of elevation change? This is not New York City or London. This is a mountain marathon. And right now, I want to see how my training goes, how I'm feeling in a couple of weeks, and then make a final decision of whether I stay with the X-Traversee or I drop down to the Verbier Marathon. And the race organizers were generous and kind to tell me, hey, a couple of weeks before the race, if you don't feel comfortable or confident, your back injury is not healed and strengthened, let us know, and you can drop down again to the 42K Verbier Marathon, which would still be an amazing experience, and I would be totally stoked and excited to tackle that and to conquer it and finish. The next thought I want to share is I need to back off when it comes to mountain trail ultras. I have the experience having completed 3 100-mile ultras, but flat. The Yeti 100-miler had 3,000 feet of vert on a groomed trail. Yeah, it was tough, and I finished. And then the JFK 50-miler, which is an iconic race, I believe, if not the oldest ultra, one of the oldest ultras in the US, and it's a 3rd on the Appalachian Trail, quite technical, a 3rd on a groomed trail, and a 3rd on the roads, so it has everything. And I ran that in 9 hours and 15 minutes, which is my goal to go sub 10. And then I ran the 50K Lake Warramok ultra on the road in Connecticut, and that just beat up my legs and hips because it was all on the road. Back off from the mountain trail ultras. Just because I completed 3 100s doesn't mean I can do this. And I think we need to go back and learn to crawl before we walk, then walk before we run, and at some point hopefully we'll be able to run to Mountain Trail Ultras. And as I said in my race recap and thoughts, it may be my back injury could be a limiting factor. I will do everything I can, short of fusing my discs or getting regular cortisone injections, which I've never done, to work on that disability, not limitation. That's what it's all about. Keep pushing, guys. If you're new to the channel, you may not know that I have a lower back injury, 2 herniated discs, L1, L2, and in the 100 milers that I did finish, I struggled late in the races, last few miles, but not early on like I did in the canyons. That was a complete surprise and obvious disappointment to me, especially given the training for canyons that I did. And it's worth repeating, for me, the uphills, the climbs, whether it's moderate or steep, I'm good. It's the downhills. And that is one of the things that I need to figure out, is how do I train the downhills in a flat state like Connecticut, which borders the Atlantic Ocean, and the tallest peak, which is actually on this route that I'm running, Cal's Peak, is 1,135 feet. Let's call it 350 or so meters. The mountain trail races like Canyons or Trail Verbier have very long downhills, either very steep, where you drop 1,000, 2,000 feet in a mile or two, as we saw at the Canyons from Devil's Thumb down to Swinging Bridge right in the beginning, which just hammered my quads but destroyed my back. Or more moderate downhills, but they can go on for miles. So our what I call chassis doesn't hold up, whether it's the feet, the legs, the knees, the quads, the back, what have you. And unfortunately on the Appalachian Trail or the Trapbrook Valley Trail, the 2 main technical trails that I run on, don't have the kind of steep descents or miles and miles of continuous downhill without a flat or uphill section to break things up. Next point I want to talk about is something called runner's lean. Runner's lean means late in a marathon or ultramarathon, we're unable to stay upright. We start leaning, and usually to the right. Has nothing to do with the course. So I've done a little bit of research, and there are various theories why runners have runner's lean late in a race. And it affects masters, and when I say super masters, more than young guys and ladies. I never mention my age on my channel, but I'm over 60. Body just doesn't work like it used to when I was in my 30s and 40s. And I know there are older ultra runners, so I'm not saying I'm old, although some days I feel old. The runner's lean theories, everything from potassium deficiency and therefore the muscles don't fire properly, to weak gluteus muscles and therefore those muscles don't fire, and probably half a dozen other theories. Nobody's really come up with a 90% plus level of confidence on what causes runners lean, and it could be a combination. For me, definitely the 2 herniated discs play a role in that. I think the nutrition hydration is something I can control, as is the strength of my gluteus muscles and my kinetic chain. One of the things I need to do over the next 10 weeks between my canyons and my Trail Verbier races is spend more time stretching, mobility, flexibility, core, strength training, whatever. And I've always done a lot of that, but I need to double down. Obviously wasn't enough. So I want to try to get a protocol in place where I stretch and do core every single day, usually after the run while my muscles are still warm, and then 3 sessions a week of strength training using free weights and kettlebells. As we've topped out on Cal's Peak straight ahead, we're 850 feet in the first 1+ mile, so quite steep climb, and on the way back we'll descend. I'm going to go in and share with you a little bit of background and context about the Trail Verbier St Bernard by UTMB, the 4 races, and then I'll show you specifically my 2 options, the X-Traversee and the Verbier Marathon. let's get into it. I've put together 2 very simple race plans based on the website information and watching various videos. Highlighted in yellow are the descents that exceed 400 feet per mile, which is considered steep, particularly on a highly technical trail. What's particularly brutal about this course is that there is a very long and steep descent from Cabernet-Banossière down to Lutière, and then a climb called the Wall back up to La Chaux before another descent down to Verbier. In comparison, the Verbier Marathon has a few segments that exceed 400 feet per mile of descent from Cabernet-Banossière down to Lutière. The Verbier Marathon avoids the infamous wall that I mentioned for the X-Traversee, so there's not that very steep climb and then descent down to Verbier. If you enjoyed the video and found it useful, I would appreciate if you gave it a big thumbs up, smash that like button. If you're not already following my UTMB 2025 journey, it would mean a lot to me if you consider subscribing. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.